Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Michael Smith. I'm the National Consumer Education Manager of Janome Canada, and yes, I'm back from my palatial estate here in Collingwood to share with you another Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour episode. And what will the machine be today? I don't know. It's a mystery. Maybe you could tell from our fabulous clue on Janome HQ Instagram page. So let's flip around and we'll see where we're at here. Oh, yes, Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour. You know, it's been over a year that we've been doing these Magical Machine Mystery Tour Instagram lives because there are so many fabulous Janome machines to go through. So the machine today is, ooh, ta-da! What could it be? What could it be? It is the fabulous, I always feel like I should have a drum roll, the fabulous Janome 3160 QOV. Now, you might imagine 3160, oh, there's 30 or 60 stitches here. 3160 is 60 stitches. This is part of our QD-C line, which stands for Quilt, Decor, and Couture. But the QOV here, very important, is Quilts of Valour, Canada. And their cute little maple leaf there to say we're proudly Canadian. So this machine actually is the 3160 QOV-C for Canada, because there is a Quilts of Valour in America as well. And we are, again, proudly Canadian of Quilts of Valour, Canada. So 3160 QOV-C that you can see there for Canadian. So the 3160 is a machine that Janome has had for years and years and years. One of the most popular machines. The QD-C range of machines is a perfect, like, mid-level range, again, standing for Quilt, Decor, and Couture. So then if you're doing quilting or home decor, crafts, couture, the garment sewing, then again, it's a great mid-level machine. We've got some convenient push button controls as well, but the machine is quite compact. It doesn't take up a lot of space. Very easy to transport as well. A lot of people love the QD-C machines as a backup machine or a classroom machine, a travel machine. So definitely consider that too. And of course, we all love the red faceplate here because Janome's color, you know, is red. So if you have never heard of QOV, Quilts of Valour, then I definitely encourage you go online and type in your browser, Quilts of Valour. Included in your machine is this whole beautiful write-up of Quilts of Valour, and that Janome has partnered with the Canadian chapter of Quilts of Valour. So the proceeds, every time one of these beautiful machines is sold, part of the proceeds of the machine will go to the Canadian chapter here of Quilts of Valour. So Quilts of Valour started in Canada, about 15 years ago, and it is to acknowledge the men and women, servicemen and women who definitely make a lot of, personal sacrifices to support all of us here in this beautiful country of Canada, to make sure that we still enjoy the freedoms that we do every day. So the Quilts of Valour organization donates the quilts then to, again, men and women in the various branches of service. Yes. Oh, love mine. It is my main workhorse. Oh, yes. Fabulous. That is great feedback. Yes, again, these are great, again, backup machines, classroom machines, but many people say, oh, my 3160 is my only machine. I absolutely love it, and it does everything I need to. So, yes, there's definitely lots to enjoy, which we will go over. So, again, look at that beautiful accents of red. But I wanted to show you all, look at this box. Like, I'm just so impressed by it. Most of the time, the boxes are, whatever, it's a box, but this is how, they're all wrapped in plastic, of how it comes to you. But look at this beautiful box, saying again, Quilts of Valour, and that it's in English and in French here, because, we are Canadian. But even here, look at this. If you're wondering, in the dealer's store, I'm wondering, what's with all that 3160, all the stitches here. This is your stitch chart. Isn't that cool? So you don't even have to go online. You don't even have to open the box. You just look at the box to see all the stitches built into your machine. So I think that's very cool. And then again, on the other side, more detail about the convenient push-button control, the beautiful LCD screen. The great thing about, again, the QDC line of machines is they're not quite beginner, but then they're not so advanced that they're too intimidating. Janome Canada donated the 2030 QDC machine to the I Love First Peoples So-and-So program that brings our love of sewing to remote Indigenous communities across Canada. So the 2030 QDC I featured a couple of weeks ago here on Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour. But this 3160 QOV, again, still shares a lot of those convenient push-button controls of all the QDC machines. But again, they're not so overwhelming. So that's great. So again, more about the machine, and even here on the flap. Oh, I'll have to move my camera. Here on the flap, even, it tells you, go to our website, janome.ca, click sign in. This is how you register your machine. So isn't that cool? Like, so all the information is in the box. I thought it was so beautiful. What a great presentation. So this is your box of your machine. And then, yes, let's spin here. That the machine does come with a beautiful hard cover, so if you're transporting your machine, especially, this is great. There is a little space here for the handle, so you can transport your machine with the cover on it, and as well cover your machine whenever it's not in use. I personally never cover my machines because they seem to be always in use. But yes, that's included. And then, of course, things like, oh yes, the instruction book. Make sure you go and review all of that because it will tell you absolutely everything about your machine. There is always so much. Now, yes, also included in your machine, of course, very important, you will need a foot pedal to use your machine. Now, this is the regular little black one, which is perfectly fine, but, you know, the foot pedal I'm using here with the 3160 Quilts of Valour machine, I'm using the big extra large white foot pedal. So that is an optional accessory that you can get from your Janome dealer to use with your QDC range of machines. Again, but this is the foot pedal that comes with your machine, perfectly fine. I have it on the so comfortable non-slip foot pedal pad here, and look at that. This is totally up at an angle, and that foot pedal is not going anywhere. So if you find, even if you do have that extra large white foot pedal, and you find your foot pedal is, you know, going all over the floor, this so comfortable non-slip foot pedal pad has this rubbery grip on the top and the bottom, so it'll grip whatever flooring surface you have, so your foot pedal stays in place. So that's very good. So, also included with your machine, again, this beautiful extension table. This is one reason why maybe if you are more of a beginner, but you think, no, I don't really want quite a totally beginner machine, maybe jump up to the 3160 QOV because it's got this beautiful extension table included with the machine. It's not a separate purchase. Here's your little accessory box, which fits around, you know, here to the front of the machine that you'll remove in order to use this extension table. Ooh, again, we've got lots of storage in here for all of the goodies that come with our machine, including the automatic buttonhole foot R. Now, again, your instruction manual goes over all of this, but also you can go back to the A to Z with Janome on Janome HQ YouTube channel to see the R presentation of the automatic buttonhole foot. Or, you know, our fabulous Celine has been doing Facebook Lives. Now they're every Tuesday at 3 p.m. on the Janome America Facebook page, the Janome Sewing Machines Facebook page. Celine did a whole presentation all about buttonholes, and I've been putting all of those Facebook Live presentations onto the Janome HQ YouTube channel. It's definitely been taking some time, but I'm loading them there all to our YouTube channel because I realize not everyone has Facebook Lives. So then you can see Celine's presentation. I've got a playlist on Janome HQ YouTube called Facebook Lives. So you can see all of Celine's presentations there. That's what I'm doing most of my day today, is loading several of her videos up there. So, yes, what's included with your gorgeous 3160 QOV. Now, like I believe all of our QDC machines, we have this fabulous quilting attachment kit. Now, if your machine did not come with one, these are for the 7mm low shank machines. So if your machine did not come with this kit, it is available separately. And it's got things like, oh yes, the even feed foot to feed all your layers evenly. Great if you're quilting through all layers. A quilting guide bar. In fact, Celine's Facebook live yesterday was about the quilting guide bar. Again, it comes with so many Janome machines. It's been around for years. But again, it's always nice to get little tips and tricks on how to use it, how to put it into your even feed foot, which Celine goes over. There we've got our open toe satin stitched foot. Oh, our 1/4 inch foot with the guide, which I will demo in just a minute. This metal cloth guide, adjustable cloth guide, I love. Again, is been around forever, but I would say if it's not broke, don't fix it. That metal cloth guide works beautifully. And there's the open toe darning foot as well when you're going to do like free motion quilting. So all of these feet I have demoed on the various A to Z with Janome episodes. And again, go back to review maybe the 2030 QDC machines when I have all of these out. And I've again demoed pretty much all of them. Now also included with your machine here, we've got a good variety of 60 stitches, which are again good utility stitches, and then we get into some beautiful decorative stitches, even some of the heirloom stitches. So it's built-in buttonholes again, so it's a good variety of stitches. We got a good variety of presser feet, but you know Janome always has more, so double check with your Janome dealer on what you can get additionally. So we've got things, of course, like our secondary spool pin here that fits up. Ooh, that fits up here to the top of the machine. So we can wind our bobbin and put another spool of thread on this secondary spool pin so we don't have to unthread our needle. So that's great. Tools like, you know, the seam ripper and the little brush to clean out your bobbin area. They pretty much come with all the Janome machines. Your big spool cap for your big spools of thread. Some extra needles. Now these are specifically Oregon needles, but you know, Oregon makes Janome needles. So when you finish this little sample pack, you can get from your Janome dealer Janome branded needles. They're basically one and the same. So Oregon or Janome needles will work perfectly fine. In fact, you can use other brands of needles in your machine, but you know, the beautiful built-in needle threader to your 3160 QOV machine, that other brand of needle, the eye of that needle may not line up with this needle threader. So you can use the needle in your machine. Again, the eye of that other brand of needle may not line up with the needle threader. So that's the only thing about using other brands of needles. Stick to a good quality needle too, so you know it's not going to damage your machine. Now I wanted to point out, look at that beautiful little, as your extra bonus, if you then purchase your 3160 Quilts of Valour machine, you get this cute little pin here with Janome and Quilts of Valour Canada. So you can wear your Janome love and wear your Janome pride and your Quilts of Valour pride, you know, on your coat, on your lapel, on a scarf, whichever. So I think that's really cute. So we've had questions. Can I purchase this pin separately? No, you must buy this beautiful machine in order to receive this pin. So again, maybe, oh, if someone's learning to sew, what a great machine for them. Or again, if you're looking for a secondary backup machine, travel machine, then great. Maybe this 3160 Quilts of Valour is a great option. And then yes, you get this cute little pin. So I thought that was lovely. Now, these red bobbins, oh, aren't they gorgeous? You know, Janome's had pink bobbins for years and blue bobbins for years. Quilts of Valour here, the Quilts of Valour Canada, and we know that it's a Canadian machine, one, because it says Canada, our little maple leaf here, of course. But yes, red, being Janome's color and Canada's color with the red and white. So how perfect is that? So Janome, specially commissioned, these beautiful red bobbins. And then so many people said, oh, well, I would like more. I'm of the opinion you can never have enough bobbins for your machine. So I was thrilled. Again, Janome really does listen to feedback. It may not happen as quickly as we like, but they really do listen to feedback. And these red bobbins now available in a pack of 25 is a direct result of the feedback of when this machine came out. Oh, it was either last summer or maybe 2 summers ago. I can't remember which. The time is such a blur. But yes, when this Quilts of Valour machine came out, everyone said, oh, I want more red bobbins. Boom, there we go. A beautiful pack of 25 red bobbins. So how perfect is that to go with your Quilts of Valour machine? And then, of course, we do have the pink 100th anniversary. Can you believe Janome's 100th year? So you can always get more bobbins in whatever color you would like, regardless of what machine that you have. Now, speaking of bobbins, all those loose bobbins that you're using at the time of your machine, you could also get this Janome Grab It bobbin saver. Isn't that great that your bobbins just stay in there? They're not going to roll all over the place. The ends of the threads stay tucked in, so it's not going to be a big mess, so you can easily go in and select the bobbins you need. So these are all available from your Janome dealer, and what a great time. We're about a month or so till Christmas, so how about these for some stocking stuffers, or some gifts for yourself too? Like, isn't that great? And they're all red, so how perfect that they match your machine beautifully. Now, presser feet that come with the machine. Oh yes, we've got the C foot here, which is the overcast over edge foot with that little brush on it. And these cool little pins, those little stitch fingers right there. These are like the stitch fingers that are on your serger. So they help support the fabric when you're using the overcast or over edge stitch, which here on your machine, your 3160 Quilts of Valour machine, here like stitch number 11 and 12, they're like your over edge, overcast stitches. So you would use this C presser foot, and now this is your overcast edge there. Then it finishes off the edge of the fabric. It again mimics what a serger does, except this machine does not trim the fabric. So that is great to use for that. The E foot is the zipper foot, and again, back at the A to Z with Janome series on Janome HQ YouTube, or the Janome, the IGTV icon on the Janome HQ Instagram page. I've got the E episode to demonstrate the zipper foot. This is the F foot, is the satin stitch foot that you'll use for, look at all these beautiful satin stitches here, all these decorative stitches down here. You will use this satin stitch foot that has that groove in the bottom, so that'll help the stitches form very beautifully. And then this G foot is one of my favorites. This is the blind hem foot, and you'll see with this little rudder down the middle of the foot there, it helps you line up your fabric to create, there is your beautiful blind hem. But then this is the way that you actually stitch it. You fold it back here, and that little rudder goes right up against the fold like that. So as the little bite of the zigzag comes over to bite the fold of the fabric, that's what creates your blind hem, and then the line of stitching here helps control the raveling on this edge. Now this edge here of your raw edge you could put through the serger, or again finish with that overcast stitch first, especially if it's a really ravelly fabric, and then you could do your blind hem. Now as I fold out that blind hem there, you can see, you can barely see those stitches. If it was white instead of red, like, you would not even see those. So that's your traditional blind hem that you use with your G foot. But I will demo what I love also using my G foot for. Now sometimes people think the G foot is the stitch in the ditch foot. But oh no, you see there's the G foot, but as an optional accessory, an optional presser foot from your Janome dealer, there is the S foot, which is the stitch in the ditch foot. And you can see it's got a similar rudder that's down in the middle, but this is a much longer rudder as I put them there. So you can see this is your S. Stitch in the ditch foot is an optional presser foot available from your Janome dealer. This is the G foot, the blind hem foot that comes with this machine. So when I snap on, as usual, we've got snap-on presser feet here. This is a 7mm low shank machine. Now, to determine what the shank is, that if you put your presser foot down on the bed of the machine, so drop your foot, and then you measure up to this little screw. If it is approximately 1/2 inch, it's a low shank. If you measure up to that little screw and it's about 1 inch or 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches, then it is a high shank machine. So this is low. We have a extra high presser foot lift, so isn't that great, especially quilting through all layers, again, sewing through, tote bags, so that's good. So with this G foot, do you ever have, when you're quilting, and you've got all these little scraps of batting left over, so you can very easily do this zigzag stitch and join that batting together. So now all of a sudden I've got a bigger, more usable piece of fabric or a piece of batting. Like, to me, I don't waste anything, and especially now as COVID has caused so many back orders and things are, taking forever to arrive. Instead of waiting on certain things, how about we make the most of it and again, use up all your scraps of batting. So here I have my little demo. And what I love using this G foot for, again, because that little rudder is right down the middle, so I just butt up my 2 pieces of batting to that rudder and it keeps it nice and centered. Now, when I go and adjust my stitches here, our beautiful LCD screen, now our straight stitch tells us to use the A foot, the regular zigzag foot. When you turn on your machine, you'll see it says 3.5, so we know that's center needle position. So therefore, center needle is 3.5, so we know this is a 7mm machine. Now, the default stitch length here is 2.2, but we can just scroll over here with these buttons to the cursor. So then that cursor now is under our stitch width, so we can adjust that, or the length to adjust that. Or let's bring this cursor back over to this is how we change our stitches. And we have all of our beautiful stitch chart here, or again on the box. So I would like a zigzag stitch is number 7. So I can scroll through 1, 2, 3, 4. Or, if we've got a higher number up here, if I want, like, let's say 44, then we scroll over. So the cursor is just on this line here, and then we can go up by 10s, 14, 24, 34, for example. So really easy to navigate. Again, your manual goes through it all, and if you just sit down with the machine with the manual open, go through it all, it's amazing how quickly you can really learn your machine. But you definitely should do that first, do all your little test samples to really learn it, and before you engage in a project. But it's really simple that way. So here, this stitch width, I want to make sure this zigzag is really nice and wide. So I'm going to scroll the cursor over and go all the way up to 7. Now, when I can't go anymore, the machine does that little chirping sound saying, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. So again, the machine does some thinking for you. This little presser or this little icon here is our foot control. That this means the foot control is engaged. But we do have a stop start button here, so we don't even need to use that foot control. So isn't that cool? Again, lots of versatility. So I want to scroll over here to my stitch length, and I'm going to lengthen it, maybe a 3.0. Again, do all your testing. We do have a speed control, so if you're new to sewing, or again, this is for a beginner sewer, a younger person to sew, we can turn it down. Now we also, Cheryl's here. Hello, hello. We've got the scissor button. This is definitely a feature a lot of people love that will trim your threads after you're done. Needle up and down. I love that we don't have to turn the balance wheel to raise the needle. We can just easily move our finger up here to go needle up and down. So great, convenient features all at your fingertips. The lock stitch, so we don't have to use the reverse stitch, although we do have the reverse button or the lock button as a way to finish your seams. So that is good. Like I think almost all Janome machines as well, we have a side cutter over here to trim your threads. But yes, let me get back to this batting here. I've got it all butted up to that little rudder in between. I like when I start sewing that little thread cutter, for example. Did you know from back to front is a thread cutter, but from front to back, it's a thread holder. So I like to hold my threads there so then they don't all bunch up underneath. If you don't want to physically hold them yourself, you could put them in your thread holder like that. So then, yes, away we go. So because I've got a nice wide zigzag, that I know I'm not going to hit that rudder in between of this blind hem foot, and then I'm just butting up my batting, make sure that they both layers, both sides, stay butted up to this rudder that's down the middle, and it joins. You don't want the batting to overlap each other. You want it just butted up together. You just want it to kiss. So by having that little rudder down the middle, that helps you avoid them overlapping. So yes, we can use our scissor button, boom, and then raise up our foot, and then there. Look how beautiful that is. Nice and flat. If it bubbles a little bit, just hit it with the iron, but look at that. Nice and flat, nice and beautiful. No one will ever know. I mean, you would use typically probably white thread or beige thread, particularly if you've got a white fabric, quilt going over this. But again, this is so flat, no one will know that you have joined your batting. So what a great way that is to recycle and reuse and save everything. Now I also wanted to pop off that foot and then show this. Ooh, I'll pull that thread out. This 1/4-inch foot with the guide. I love this foot because when we're doing our piecing for our quilting, it's great. I like personally the guide. Some people don't, but I love having that guide there because I generally sew fast. So I like having the guide there to help my accuracy. So when we're going to be doing our 1/4-inch piecing, we have many different options here. We just need a straight stitch. But number 2, for example, has a built-in reverse button. Number 3 has a built-in lock stitch at the beginning or the end of the stitch. I instead am going to use 30 down here that says P, which is a piecing stitch. And what that means is, instead of, if I were on a regular straight stitch, I generally like to piece with a tighter stitch length, a shorter stitch length. So I don't have to do any more adjustments. I can just move my cursor over to 30. I'll go down to 3, and then I'll go up to 30. Oops, I wanted to go down to 0 to 30. There we go. So once I'm on 30, now there's my middle needle position, 3.5. But here my stitch length, instead of that usual 2.2 with the default, it's automatically adjusted down to 1.8, which is personally the stitch I like to use because it's a little tighter. So that way, I personally don't like back stitching for my piecing or using that lock stitch. I just like to continue to sew. So when we're doing these half square triangles, for example, we will draw a line. Typically, we'll draw a line down the middle, and then we'll sew a 1/4 inch on either side, and then we'll flip them out like that, and there's our half square triangle. So this gorgeous fabric is from, I'm doing Jennifer Tryon's homemade quilt event. Janome is one of the sponsors, and Jennifer so generously sent me this beautiful fabric so I can follow along. Oh, so be it, Clother. Hello. Oh, it's been forever. I hope you've been well. Oh, thank you for joining me. So yes, I'm going to be following along with everyone too that joined up to Jennifer's homemade quilt event. So here we're making lots of half square triangles, and I've already received the message, what presser foot do I use with that? Well, you can use this 1/4 inch foot with the guide. Now, typically you'd be using the guide, up here against the edge of the fabric. But when you're going to be doing these half square triangles, you're going to be following that guide down that pencil line that you drew. So you can still use this 1/4 inch foot for your half square triangles, even though you're not sewing on the edge of the fabric. Now, you can see, typically I don't sew with pins, but I do have a couple of pins here, some with these little glass heads, or these are nice fine, these regular pins. These are silk pins, so they do not distort your fabric. So if you are going to pin, use a nice little pin. These are the little red ones there from Little House. Aren't they adorable? Or these were included in my kit that Jennifer sent. So isn't that great? Or these iris pins I've had forever. These are, again, silk pins, very fine pins. So double check at your Janome dealer. Chances are they have some pins there. So it's really nice to use a nice fine pin. And you'll see I have the ends facing outward, so it's easy to remove the pin. I like moving my pins like way out here, so I don't even have to remove them while I'm sewing. But if you need to, again, this is why I like putting the heads of the pin facing out, so it's easier to remove them. Now, once you remove your pin, again, it's so little, so fine, but this way it's not going to distort your fabric. You can put it on the fabulous Janome Pin Pal. Again, what a great stocking stuffer this would be. Great for your little tools like your screwdriver, or these are the kind of everyday pins that I use for most projects, but if I really want something very fine and delicate and accurate, you can see the difference of that pin. When I do want to pin something, I want to use, again, for more accuracy, I use a nice little pin. These I use like on my design wall, or if I'm making like a tote bag in thicker layers, I'll use those big pins, and they'll all fit nicely on your Janome Pin Pal. So that's great. So again, for your half square triangles, yes, very simple and easy. Just go down one side, keeping that edge of the foot in line. You can cut your threads there, or again, use your scissor button. So boom, down one side, super simple, and then go around and do the other side. So you can still use this foot for all your half square triangles. It works out very easily. And then why I don't like to backstitch or use that lock stitch when I'm piecing, I'm gonna butt on, here is another half square triangle all ready to go. I'm going to butt on that other half square triangle and just get it going. I do have to lift up the foot to make sure it doesn't, run into, that little guide doesn't run into the edge of the fabric, but boom, there I go. So this is why, again, I like to use that shorter stitch length when I'm piecing, and I don't like using the back stitch or the lock stitch in between, because, these half square triangles, we're going to fold this back, press it, and then we're going to square these up. So we're going to cut off the ends of the fabric anyway. So there's no point of backstitching or using that lock stitch, because we're going to trim off the edges anyway. And it's nice to use the shorter stitch, so then we don't have to worry about the stitches unraveling on the corner. So that is really good. Very simple. Now, yes, thread. I've got some beautiful thread, of course. Ooh, hello. This is the Iris cotton quilting thread that I like using a lot. Of course, beautiful red, but you'll see the many beautiful colors. So this, Janome Canada, is a distributor of the Iris thread. We've got the polyester for typically embroidery. You can also use that for quilting, though. And then this is the cotton thread that I like using a lot. Or, as I've also shown many, many times, we've got got the fabulous, Madeira. This is the Aerofill thread that's 50 weight. So good general all-purpose, like piecing thread. That's perfectly fine too. Would it be best to use an even walking foot for this type of piecing? Luciano, hello. You could. Some people, yes, like using an even feed foot or the AccuFeed Flex foot when they also do their piecing. So it's entirely up to you. I feel if it's just, these two layers of cotton, I don't really find it necessary to use the even feed foot or the AccuFeed Flex foot. But if you want to, certainly, go ahead, because those feet will help ensure that your layers feed together at the same time. So there's many different options of, 1/4-inch foot, or again, how you're going to do your piecing. Janome's got many options. So I would say do whatever works best for you. So one other thing I wanted to show everyone, as usual, Fast and Furious. While I'm here, let's back up. Yes, Fast and Furious, as usual. When we are talking about, different feet and accessories available for our fabulous, in this case, 7mm low shank machine, things like, the circular attachment. Now, again, a circular attachment I demoed on the A to Z with Janome series. It was the C episode. Celine has also demoed on her Facebook Lives. Now, you'll see they're all the same circular attachment, but it's very important you get the correct one, because you'll see right here, these are different shapes. This is for a square bobbin cover, and this is for a rectangular bobbin cover. And what that is the bobbin, I'll raise the foot. This is the bobbin cover of your machine. So do you see how this bobbin cover fits that rectangular faceplate perfectly? So then this is why this circular attachment we need for our fabulous 3160 QOV. But then depending on your machine, maybe you have a square bobbin cover. So then you'll need this one. Now, I mentioned these two. These are in stock readily at our Janome Canada warehouse. We have lots of these circular attachments. This circular attachment for the Easy Set model, you'll see there. These are typically for the 9mm machines. Though we do have some 7mm that also have the Easy Set. This is the circular attachment that is currently on back order. So we hope it will be in soon. But again, double check with your Janome dealer on what's available to go with your machine. You can always get more. Now, I wanted to show you all here, though, at my computer, that when we, if I can raise this without making anybody sick. There we go. I'll just raise it a little bit. So when we're on Janome.ca, let me just get back out of there. So if you go to your browser and you type in Janome.ca, you will see that, Janome has a lot going on right now. So Janome Canada specifically. We go to the offers and promotions tab, and you will see we've got several great deals going on. All the accessories and everything that you can, again, double check with your Janome dealer. We click on Great Gifts Holiday Flyer. We have it English and in French, of course, that our fabulous Celine translates for us. So yes, this is the current flyer. So why I am bringing this up is, yes, when you're thinking of things you would like to get for yourself, or again, maybe your sewing friend, you want to get a couple of gifts for them. Again, we've got lots of good deals going on right now at your Janome dealer. For example, this HD 1000 Black Edition, I just had that last week on Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour. So again, double check the flyer. Here is a 3160 QDC-T. that refers to the tan faceplate of the machine. So again, other machines like, ooh, that C30 I also did on Magical Machine Mystery Tour. Ooh, that 2030 QDC machine I also demonstrated on Magical Machine Mystery Tour, as I did with the Soist 725, the Soist 740, the Continental M7. Again, you can find out more about all of those machines by reviewing on our fabulous Janome HQ YouTube channel of our Magical Machine Mystery Tour. So I will scroll over here. So again, double check at your fabulous Janome dealer for more about the fabulous 3160 QOV-C, so Quilts of Valour Canadian machine. It's very, very special, very beautiful, and very patriotic. And we certainly, again, love doing all that we can for the Quilts of Valour organization. Let me flip this around. Again, part of the proceeds of all those machines sold will go to help the Quilts of Valour organization, keep going, to acknowledge those servicemen and women, to again keeping Canada safe and proud. So thank you everyone so much for joining me. It's been wonderful to see you all. As usual, the time flies by so fast. But I hope to see you all next week for another Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour. And again, what will I be talking about? Oh, I don't know. It's a mystery, so you must tune in. So thank you everyone for joining me. Have a fabulous day. Bye.